Hello everyone, I'm Reaper of Soul. Today I want to share a deep and practical guide on how to create a novel that stays in your readers' hearts long after they've turned the final page. We're going to talk about building stories that feel alive, emotional, and truly unforgettable. So let's begin. First, let's talk about the heart of any story, your characters. To make a story stick, you need to build characters that readers truly care about. This means creating people with depth, give them strengths, but also give them weaknesses and contradictions. Readers connect most when they see a piece of themselves inside your characters, flaws and all. But it's not enough to just create a complex person. You have to let your characters grow. A character who stays the same from beginning to end is static and forgettable. Life pushes us to change, and your characters should feel that same pressure. Every transformation they undergo must have meaning, driven by the events of your story. Next, you need a plot that pulls readers forward relentlessly. The engine of any plot is conflict. This doesn't always mean epic battles. It can be a quiet emotional struggle, a personal crisis, social pressure, or the slow-burning fear of loss. Conflict gives your story direction and power, but a story also needs movement. You need to balance action, dialogue, and moments of quiet reflection. A story that stands still for too long loses the reader. A story that's always in motion keeps them turning the pages, hungry for what comes next. Now, let's dive into the emotional core. How do you touch the reader's heart? You do it by tapping into universal themes. Love, loss, identity, hope, fear, regret, redemption. These are the feelings that connect all of us, because every single person has felt them. Weave these into your narrative. Also include small, relatable experiences. Tiny, specific details that make a reader pause and think, I've been through this too. Even in fantasy or sci-fi, these human moments ground the story. For readers of those genres, you also have the incredible power to give them the wonder of exploring a world beyond our own reality. To make that world feel real, you have to make it feel alive. This is where world building comes in. It's so much more than just drawing a map. You need to use sensory details, the sights, the sounds, the textures, the smells of your world. World building is atmosphere. When readers feel like they are truly inside your world, your story becomes an experience, not just a book. You can also use symbolism to reflect your character's journey. A raging storm outside can mirror the chaos in their heart. A broken object can represent a shattered dream. A single flower growing through concrete can symbolize hope. These symbols carry emotional weight without needing extra words. Let's talk about dialogue. Your dialogue has to feel real. It should sound natural, not stiff or overly formal. Think about how people actually talk. They use different tones, they pause, they have little verbal tics, and they even use slang if it fits who they are. But the most powerful tool in dialogue is subtext. What your characters **** say is often louder than what they do. Let them show their feelings through their actions, their hesitations, and their silences. Subtext makes your characters feel like real, complex people with hidden depths. Every great story needs a strong start and a meaningful end. You have to hook the reader immediately with a powerful opening moment or a question that demands an answer. Give them a reason to keep reading from the very first page. And at the end, provide a conclusion that feels earned. It doesn't have to be a perfectly happy ending, but it needs to feel honest to the story you've told. A good ending is one that stays with the reader, making them think and feel long after the book is closed. Now let's discuss your unique voice. Your writing style is what makes your story feel distinctly yours. This could be the type of imagery you gravitate toward, the rhythm of your sentences, or certain phrases that become your signature. Don't be afraid to develop this voice, and be willing to experiment with structure and perspective. Some of the greatest stories ever told came from writers who took risks, who broke the rules to create something new and powerful. To add even more depth, use symbols and core ideas strategically. Let certain objects, images, or themes reappear throughout the story. These quiet repetitions build meaning layer by layer, almost subconsciously. They give your readers something to interpret and feel, adding a richness to the narrative that they might not even be able to put into words, but they'll feel it. Of course, no story is perfect on the first try. That's where feedback and revision come in. This step is crucial to making your story stronger. Share your early drafts with trusted readers. Listen to their reactions, see where they got confused or where they felt the most emotion. Then refine your work. Great stories are not just written, they are rewritten. Every revision makes your world clearer, your plot tighter, and your characters more alive. Once your story is polished, you have to present it to the world wisely. Craft a strong, compelling summary. Choose key scenes for previews that will hook new readers. Design a cover that captures the tone of your story. And share your work on platforms where your audience actually lives. Most importantly, encourage discussion. When readers start talking about your story, they bring it to life all over again. I want to add a few more ideas that can elevate your novel. First, explore the power of quiet moments. A novel isn't just a sequence of action scenes. Silence has its own power. Those moments where characters just sit with their thoughts or stare out a window can reveal their deepest emotions. These quiet, reflective scenes often stay with a reader longer than the loud, chaotic ones. Also, use contrast to strengthen your story. Dark versus light, calm versus chaos, hope versus despair. Contrast makes emotion clearer and more powerful. A moment of peace feels so much warmer after a violent storm. A victory feels so much bigger after a devastating loss. Use these shifts to guide how your readers feel from one scene to the next. And please, let your secondary characters shine. They are not just decorations or plot devices. Give them their own personalities, their own small goals, and even their own tiny arcs. A strong, memorable supporting cast makes your world feel real and populated, and it adds incredible depth to your main character's journey. Here's another technique. Plant questions early and answer them slowly. Readers love mystery, even in stories that aren't mysteries. Plant small questions in the early chapters, not huge, complex plot twists, but little sparks of curiosity. Why is this character afraid of water? What's the story behind that old scar? Answer these questions at just the right time, not too soon and not too late. This keeps readers emotionally invested and guessing. And finally, my last piece of advice is this. Always remember the heart of your story. Behind every plot, every character, and every word, there lies a central message, the emotional heartbeat of your novel. Know what you want your readers to feel when they finish the book. Is it hope? Is it a sense of justice? Is it a bittersweet understanding of life? Whatever it is, write toward that emotion always. That is what will make your story unforgettable. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy lessons like this, follow my channel like you do.